Hi, everyone. I am Dr. Michelle Eckler, Supervisor of Technology for Teaching and Learning with the Waterbury Public Schools. And today I'm going to be sharing with you some of the really cool new features actually available in Google Meet to help you whenever you are running a meeting with your students. Okay, so first things first. The only place that you want to generate any kind of Google Meet link that you're going to use with your students is within your Google Classroom. This is critical because Google has now put onto this platform that only those students who are listed in your People tab right here are going to be able to access that Google Meet. So let me say that again. Students who are in this Google Classroom are the only ones that can access the Google Meet link if you set up that Google Meet link through your classroom. Now, anybody that you add as a teacher can also access that Google Meet link. So what you want to do is go to your stream and you're going to click Generate Link. Now, what this is going to do is to generate your meeting link for your students, and you're going to want to make it visible to them. And I will explain this in a little bit as to what you can do to prevent students to getting into the Meet if you're not there. But the key is generating this meeting link through your Google Classroom and making it visible to your students. Now, the next thing you're going to want to do before you even ever hold a meeting with your students, you need to do this as soon as you generate the Meet link, is to actually join your own meeting link. I'm going to turn my camera and my microphone off so I don't get feedback. I'm going to join it. And then I'm going to go into my host controls and I am going to turn off quick access. You want to make sure that quick access is turned off completely, because if quick access is turned on, students might be able to get into your Meet with you out without you there. So you want to make sure your quick access is turned off, and then you're going to leave your meeting. You always, always, always want to end the call. You're going to verify that quick access is turned off. You'll see here the little negative. If it's got a plus, it's on. If it's got a negative, it's off. And then you end the call. You do not ever just want to leave the call, because if you leave the call, you leave it open. You always want to end the call. Now I am in this meeting as a student. Here's the thing. If your student clicks join, they're going to get to this part. I'm going to turn off my camera and my microphone so I don't get feedback. It says ready to join. No one else there. I click join now. That's what's going to happen. It is new for Google. It is going to say waiting for the host to join, just like this screen does. So even though a student will be able to see that piece right there that says, can I join? And they can click join, they're not going to be able to be let in as long as you have turned off your quick access every time you end. Okay, so I'm back in my meeting and I'm going to show you some of the new features from Google for host controls. Host controls are incredibly important so that you can control what happens within that Google Meet. You'll see here that I'm in, that's me down here, and then I also have my supervisor account in so I can show you some of the cool features. So host controls are down here in the bottom corner. They have the little lock inside the shield. If you click on that, you can control what people can do. So you always want to leave host management on, which allows you to also appoint a co-host, and I'll show you how to do that in a moment. Let's say you don't want your students to be able to share their screens. Anytime you have the black minus sign, it means they can't do it. If you have the blue check, it means they can. So we can turn off screen sharing. We can turn off chat messages. We can actually stop students from being able to turn on their microphone at a particular time. So if you're in the middle of, you don't want students to accidentally turn on their microphone, you can actually turn this off. You can stop people from turning on their video. So if at a particular time you want to make sure everyone's video is off, you can just turn everyone's video off. You can also turn everyone's video back on, but they have to actually manually turn their video on if you allow them to turn it on. Just because you click this and say, oh, you can turn on your video, doesn't mean that it's going to automatically turn on everyone's video. It just means that they will be able to then. So let's say you're doing a quiz at some point in time. You want to make sure everybody turns their video off. You can turn off video that way. As always, we want to make sure quick access is off. That requires people to go into a waiting room for you to be able to let them in. And then I'm going to go to my host settings, the further ones, and show you all of them. So I'm going to turn this off here. So quick access. If your students are assigned to your Google Classroom, as soon as you open this Google Classroom Meet link, they will be allowed to get in. So remember that if you log into it, the students can get in. Now, if they are not a student assigned to that particular Google Classroom, they will be in a waiting room where they have to, as they say, quote unquote, knock to get in. Same happens if any adult is trying to get into your meeting that is not supposed to be there, that is not on your guest list, I guess you would call it. So they're not a co-teacher on the class. And they're not a student in the class, they would also have to, quote, knock to get in. So this is one of the easiest things that you can do here to make sure that your classroom is very secure. So the next thing I want to show you is how you can go ahead and mute people. So you can very easily mute people if you need to in the middle of a meeting. So you're going to go to this little icon here that looks like two people and you click show everyone. Right now, everybody in here is muted. You can't unmute someone else, but you can mute people. So let's say I'm not going to do it now because that would just send so much feedback through if I were to unmute my other person, my other account. But if I were to unmute it, I could just click here and I could mute everyone. It's a pretty quick and simple way to mute the entire class if you need to. You can also, depending upon how many students you have, you can usually just click on their picture here and it will have a button that shows whether or not you can mute them. You can see I have it here. I have pin, I have show and tile and minimize. There would also be one for muting if I were not muted in my other account. Now, the other really cool thing that you can do is add a co-host. I am not sure if students can be co-hosts. I have not tried that, and I would highly suggest you don't try that. But if you have a co-teacher or another adult that is going to be in the room with you and you want to give them access to be able to mute someone, access to be able to stop screen sharing, if they're going to be going into breakout rooms and you want them to be able to control what happens in those breakout rooms, you're going to want to give that person co-host controls. So the way you're going to do that is also in this People tab. You're going to click on the More Actions icon, the three dots, and you're going to add this person as a co-host. Now let me go ahead and bring this over here for you to see. And so now I am a co-host here. This is my technology supervisor account. And I now have access to all of the things. And I can change whatever it is that the main host had done. I can do that completely as the co-host. And then let me pull that back. If you want to take co-host features away, you click the More Actions again, and you remove the person as a co-host. And so now they're no longer the co-host. It's a really great option to allow someone else to kind of be in control of the background part of your Google Meet while you're in control of the teaching. You can also access your host controls here in the people side. If you need to view all of your host settings, you can click here. So it's a pretty quick and easy way to access everything. Google makes it possible for you to access any of these features from almost anywhere in here. But the number one thing I want to tell you is always, always, always make sure your quick access is turned off. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. I'm more than willing to help. And I hope that you have a wonderful day.